Hey guys, back with another Echoing Thoughts podcast here, episode number 86. And in this one, we're going to talk about the update. I thought there was going to be a patch this week, but there was no Maple TV the last few days, so I figured that, maybe they're going to have something more in store next week. And so it gets me a little bit excited, right? Like, I would have been excited for the Link skills, the Legion, the insane amount of flexibility for training and bossing that we can have, the removal of the transfer cooldown, more link skills that can be transferred. I think more that can be equipped as well. I think it's going up from 12 to 15. We're going to dive into all of that and kind of just the underrated, kind of the sneaky good thing about this update that I think a lot of people don't really think about or know about. So it's going to really hopefully help a lot of people make decisions on gearing and progressing. But first, we're also going to get into an Adele showcase. Man, was it insane to see the best Adele, top Adele in the game, one of the best guilds in the game, really compete and show out in front of some of the best players and the best classes. Adele was top of the charts versus like a DK, the Dual Blades, the Phantoms, the Wind Archers, the Loomies in Will. And so it was just amazing to see. And shout out to Zeus, the Adele for recording, and Sephi for posting it and sharing. So you guys definitely want to wait and see the end for that one. But before I get into all that, and before I get into some questions, I want to talk quickly about this time of the year. This is the time of the year where I call is the quitting season, kind of the dead period, right? We just had big the highs of anniversary, V4, new boss, max damage cap increase, rebalance, everything, right? And now we're 2-3 months removed, and it's sort of that period where quality of life changes here, a new character there. People are going back to school, have other things to do, right? Just summer is coming to an end, and we're getting into winter and holiday season, and people tend to quit. It's just what happens in the game for a lot of different reasons. Everyone has their own opinions, but it's that type of season. I kind of just want to give my 2 cents on that and hopefully persuade some people to stick around, to stay, to kind of just chill, to wait it out. Because let's be honest, the game can become a chore at times, and it can be sort of like the bossing. There's nothing to look forward to. Progress becomes stale. Maybe you're kind of in debt a little bit from the game, and you need to cash out, right? I get it. But I just want to give my 2 cents, and that is to find different ways to enjoy the game. I think that one of the things that when I'm kind of bored playing my main, just auto battling, doing nothing, I've always turned to alt story. I've always turned to solo content. I've always turned to like Legion. And right now I'm kind of just enjoying that, like doing dailies, trying to, play different characters, see what it's about. Solo content like my Bishop, my Wind Archer, just getting enough gear, just putting some resources into that, like a new character, and taking a break from gearing up my main so that I can explore, progress in new content, right? That's something I really enjoy and something that I've always turned to, and it kind of worked out for me because at the end of the day, I think we all enjoy the game, and obviously life happens, right? Time, it gets busy, but I think as long as we can find some sort of like something that gets us excited again, like to test out a new class, like getting a certain levels, doing more damage, and finding that in like something that we've never played before is something that's always fulfilling, in my opinion, right? Like the playing your main all the time can get boring. I get it. So I would recommend trying to find something different for you, right? That's like maybe it's like Mulong, maybe it's trying to improve covert, maybe it's like doing something completely different or just re-rolling. I think that there are always like other free-to-play parts of the game that are enjoyable to me, and I would just say like hopefully it's just a phase. Hopefully there's a new rebalance soon that gets us excited, a new class that gets us excited in the next few months, and it feels like time flies. Like it's crazy that it's already been 3 rebalances, 3 months since the last rebalance, since V4. And next thing you know, it's going to be New Year. There might be there should be a rebalance coming soon, something more exciting that gets us going again, gets us testing out things. And when you have multiple, characters or multiple avenues to like enjoy about it, like it's not just your main, but you can you have a second main and ult that gets a rebalance as well, get some sort of improvement. That's always nice as well. So that's just my 2 cents. Something that kind of keeps me going, that I found that a lot of people that play the game, is to stay in the game, to stay in playing, is that they always find that balance of kind of wailing, but also taking a step back and finding free to play ways and kind of other ways to enjoy a lot of other parts of the game that I think is pretty fun. All right, so now I wanted to get into the updates that's happened, right? It started off with the link skill update, something that we've been asking for a long time. More slots for transferable link skills. The transfer wait time is over, so we can freely kind of use that and take advantage of that. Preset setting added. Love that. That's huge. We'll talk about that. And the UI is just improved in general, which I think it's overdue, right? So I think one takeaway from here is that I saw that it's annoying. One takeaway that I saw from here was that I think there is currently 13 presets here that we can add, and you can kind of create your own presets for training and for bossing. I think it gets up to 15. Yeah, this one says max possible transfers 15. So that's out from 12. We'll take that, right? Because there's a lot of great skills that we can't even use. Like sometimes we have to decide between HP. We can't use like physical attack or CD percent. So now we just have more options with more classes coming out. Love that. That's one great thing. And the presets up here is huge. Big fan for bossing and training. So now we don't have to min-max it and be a pain. We can just do both presets. Love that. Set it one time and forget it. So that's a big win in my opinion. And then kind of paired with this Legion one. This Legion boost is huge, right? So they're giving down here extra stats for specifically what classes you are going to have in your Legion link skill. So the way I interpreted this is, I'm not sure it's correct, but I believe it's probably kind of makes sense to me, is that whatever blocks you use in here, it's going to have a little cumulative effect over here, right? So you want to have a balance of, depending on what you're doing, training versus bossing, you want to not only fill up the right slots, but you want to have specific characters, warriors, pirates, thieves, mages, filling it up, right? Because it's going to give you additional bonus here. So we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit and what I found out and learned, and so that we can kind of see what my situation is like, and then kind of how it's going to help apply to your guys' situation as well. All right, so this is a little spreadsheet that I did, and so on the left here is kind of just that from the update here, and the right side is what someone sent to, based on what I think KMSM has or something like that, information. So basically this column is warriors. It's going to say warriors right here. It's going to say what here: warriors, mage, archer, thief, pirate. And so the max you can get, so it's going to be HP, party XP, boss attack, CD, and EXP. And that kind of matches what's down over here. There's a max quantity over here. So HP percent is 10%, party XP is 10%, CD and boss attack are both 15%, and then EXP is 20%. So that's huge gains, just free gains, right? I love that. HP percent is actually pretty nice. That might be the best one out of them all, but because HP is always hard to come by without getting like your gear up, like Absolabs and Necros and things like that. So 10% HP is a lot. That is a lot. So that's awesome. That's kind of what gatekeeps a lot of people from doing certain content, like Damien, like even Arc, or obviously Will. It helps a lot as well, and other bosses like that. So just more survivability, huge, and so this is kind of the breakdown of what levels they are. So level 60 here is B tier, and that's how much it's going to give for each. Level 100, 150, 200, 250. So I think this is exactly like what in the Legion current system is, the block size, right? So I think it's like 1 block, 2 blocks, 3 blocks, 4 blocks, and then 5 blocks is triple S. So that's level 250 plus. So my breakdown here is kind of what I have in the middle. So I have 36 link skills available to me because my Legion is like 8900. So I have 36 link skills that I can place down. I think 37 with the PC one. So I have a lot of options. Actually, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even add it to my totals. But right here, my HP warriors I got a ton of warrior alts. And my paladin is obviously 250 plus. So I got 2% there, 10%, easy. Not worried about that. Mages, I got a ton of mages too, over 150. So got to break down. Archers, these are the ones good to go. These ones lacking just a bit. So this is where I'm going to focus on kind of before this next patch notes. Archers are tough. There's only 6 archers, right? So I actually have two, I think I have 2 win archers in here. And then 1 of each. So, yeah. So like I have 4 archers that are below 150. So I could get those up easily to get to 1.8 here times 4. That's 3.2. So I'll be about 14%. And then it is what it is. So I can get 1 more here, I guess. But my peak is going to be 14% if I get these 4 up too. But I'm not really worried about the boss attack for me personally because I cap all my lines anyways. Thief, huge. I actually can get a few of these up to, I think I have like a few at like 130, so I can get that up to 150, not a problem. And then I'll get that up to 15. So thieves, I'm in a good spot. That's easy to do. And then pirates, pretty tough. Pirates are pretty tough. It's a lot of EXP though, but I'm short 0.8, so 1.6. So I'll be just short here. So I could use another, but I'm already close to 300%. I'm already capped out at 300% as it is. So EXP is not really a huge priority for me. But this is nice, right? This is kind of how you want to break it down. Hopefully this helps you guys understand, and hopefully this is accurate, which I think it is. But yeah, we're trying to maximize this stuff, right? So, and the nice part is that you can obviously, like for training, I would take PXP obviously, EXP, and then the CD percent for killing faster. And then for bossing, you can take all this, and all this, and have extra left over. So I would do this, kind of see where you're lacking, see what priorities for you. But hopefully this helps you guys kind of get a better understanding of what you need to work on. Legion is huge, right? Legion is very important. And it's like for those people that are in quitting season, like this may give you another thing to work on, have fun and enjoy. That's going to progress your main. That is different. That is going to kind of get you excited to level up new characters or play new characters. And I'm already doing this on my DS because my DS is slacking. That account is slacking. But overall, it's pretty cool to see. These are big boosts. And I want to talk about how this not only affects link skills and kind of just your overall stats, but it also helps those people that are in between deciding, making certain decisions on how to improve their gear. This is a game changer, right? Because this is all free to play. You can level to 150 very easily now. And you can get like a character up quite easily. Honestly, I got one up to 120. Well, I mean, 100 is nothing, right? 100 is a day with the training ground. So I would highly recommend trying to get that up enough just for free. Like if you can get 1.2% BA for free in 30 minutes, like you could get, that is just insane if you're lacking on characters and links. Like if you have the character slots, that's huge, right? And I think what this makes me think of, right, is how, again, the game is changing, right? I get this question so many times about emblem ratios. It does not matter anymore. Emblem ratios are outdated. CD, BA, like, again, like you can get 15% CD here from just Legion. And you don't have to overspend on a CD emblem that's like $3 more. That's overpriced, right? You can go boss attack because a lot of people are lacking boss attack. But look at this, 15% boss attack you can get from Legion by itself. Don't even like, I tell people this all the time, but like you have to consistently think of what is being updated, because that is what Nexon wants you to focus on. That's where the most gains are going to be, the most efficient ways to gear up. Emblems have not been changed in forever. If you're trying to min-max flames for CD, that hasn't changed in forever. That's not going to change. You're going to get a few crit damage here and try to test your luck on getting double lines of CD while you can just literally level up an alt and get 1.8% CD per alt, 1.8% BA per alt, on top of getting the link skills, on top of like, it just, things that haven't changed. Souls haven't changed, emblems haven't changed, flames haven't changed. Stop worrying about that stuff. That stuff is like, it's set in stone. What has changed is potentials, links and legions, like guild skills even, right, is huge. You can get physical attack from symbols. Like, I think people, I just got to remind people that this is where the most gains are going to be, and it's cheaper than it's ever been. It just is, right? Leveling alts is as easier than it's ever been. Dailies, like you can get so many levels so easily just by doing dailies, and it all kind of just ties together with exploring different avenues of the game, knowing the ins and outs of the game, and taking advantage of it and not spending a dime, right? So I hope this helps, because like I see so many people giving advice that it has to be full CD, it has full CD emblem, your flames have to be this, your flames have to be that. Those are outdated. Like those, like you're gonna get a few CD here, like you can get those resources somewhere else for much less RNG, much less gambling, much less resources and money, and you can allocate those in other places, like max damage cap, which is arguably the most important stat. All right, the last thing I want to do quickly was just answer a few questions. I've been getting a few recently that I thought were great questions. And the first one is, does Damien have a fixed skill rotation like Magnus? Or do you have to pay attention to the animations to know beforehand? This is from ZZZ IJE. But this is from my solo Damien video. I did on my Bishop and my Wind Archer, and it's fixed. Pretty much every boss has a fixed rotation. Magnus, Arc, Lotus, Damien, Lucid, Will. It's all fixed. So knowing the rotation is huge, right? Knowing this rotation it's all preemptive, right? And for Damien especially, you can't really wait for the animations. It's too quick, especially the dashes. So you've got to know what's coming next to be proactive about it. If you're waiting for the animations, it's too late. And one of the things that you do want to keep in mind is that majority of the skills can get skipped with stun. All the skills in Damien specifically can be skipped except for the fly up skills. So think of popcorn, the meteors that kind of come out, the dives cannot be skipped, and I think tornado skill as well cannot be skipped. Everything else can be. Teleports, dashes, and sometimes it's 2 skills because of how long stun is now, so 10 seconds. So keep that in mind. If you have a rotation in your head and then you stun it, it's actually going to skip 1, possibly 2 skills. So keep that in mind. But fixed skill rotation. And then this other one, it's a funny one, but I've gotten this question quite a bit actually over the years, and it's from Setsuna7618. In your opinion, will Phantom get hit with a heavy nerf someday? It's crazy to see how OP Phantom class is in MSM when PC version Phantom has been one of the weakest classes for years. Yeah, I think they're gonna get nerfed. Huge. Yeah, about time. Now, I as much as I don't care for the Phantom class as much, mainly kind of, just some in the community. I don't think they're getting nerfed. I think I think if the days of getting nerfed is behind us, Nexon has done a really great job of sort of quote unquote rebalancing things, but not just like nerfing the strong classes, but just bringing up the other classes, the lower tier classes, and just not affecting every class, right? Sometimes rebalances are just like 10 classes, 5 classes, the lower classes that need some more lines and things like that, while the top tier classes haven't got rebalanced in a long time. Things like paladins, like I swear like Lumis before didn't get rebalanced for a long time. Like Kaisers were getting constantly rebalanced, and Kinesis were constantly getting rebalanced, and other classes just weren't. Like Dual Blades never got rebalanced. Nightwalkers didn't get rebalanced before remaster. So that's sort of the approach they've been taking the last few years, and I think so. With that in mind, it is crazy to see that how good Phantoms are, but I don't see them going away anytime soon. That's just not the game we play, and I always have to remind people that our game is different than PC. It just is. And whether you like that or not, it's different than PC, and it's different than KMSM too, right? Just the ways that they get their gear. Like we have Necro. Everything's surrounded by Necro and success chance from Necro to Absolab or things like that. KMSM doesn't have that. PC, I think Necro was a part of it, but not like best in slot. So keep that in mind. The game has obviously a lot of similarities. They're trying to trend in that direction, but there are things that they try to keep in their own way, based on our community, based on our game, based on their, the devs for this game's plans. And Phantom is one of those things. They've loved Phantom for a long time, and they've been very strong, no matter what meta it is, whether it's support or DPS or a combination of both. So great question. I think Phantoms are here to stay, and they're going to be very good for a while, for a long time. All right, we're back and ready to showcase the Adele. And first off, before we get into this, I want to apologize to all the Adele players. I was completely wrong on this class in my class tiers ranking, and I'm glad that Sephi and their Adele, Zeus, were able to showcase the potential and kind of the DPS of this class, because I had them in the B+ tier, which, if you don't remember, was the lowest tier of my tiers list. I had them surrounded by the Marksman, the Cadena, the Angelic Buster, Kana, these classes. And I had them below Kaiser. I had them the worst warrior, and I was just flat out wrong. And so I wanted to apologize to the Adele community, and I'm glad that we got to do this and showcase it, because, man, when I watched this back, this was insane to see. And so, if you don't know the backstory, this is Sephi and his team with Zeus, the Adele, and they are all just straight up full 60s across the board. They got top DK, Adele, Phantom, Dual Blades, Wind Archer, you name it, they got it. And the first thing I always like to look for is how the class does. When I look at ranking them, I just like to see how they compare to a few things, right? Survivability, mobility, their toolkits, their burst, and their sustained damage, right? It's kind of everything, the main things you look for in a great class, right? And so the Adele, first thing right off the bat, I just want to see how they stack up. And first off, I mean, the animations are amazing. Love to see it. And you can see right here, once split is up, they're pumping. They're competing, right? First 15, 20 seconds, they do third. But they're hovering, right? Competing with a lot of these great classes. And this is really the surprising things to me. Once that first initial burst comes down, which they were still very good in, right? The first 20 seconds, they were the top 3, top 5. But this is where they really start to catch up. The top DPS right now is a DK. And look at it. Not bad. So that first initial 50 seconds in the fight started off slow. I think that could have cost DPS, but 320 compared to a lot of these other classes is very, very good, because Adele has pretty great burst, but they're more kind of, they have like in between skills, right? They're V1, they're V2, V3, V4, as you can see here, have different durations, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, and they really thrive in these settings where they can pretty much just stand there and tunnel, because one of their skills is kind of, you have to be close to the boss. It's kind of a surrounding, sort of like Paladin's Righteous Hammers, where you're in the vicinity, it's going to do passive damage, and then obviously all the swords around it is going to go crazy with it, right? So you can see here, not kind of middle of the pack, right? Kind of got messed up by that little interruption there, but he is manualing all his cooldowns. So I'd like to see, again, what his skill wheel is like. So his iframes are here, his blink is here, he has a 30-second cooldown here, and this right here, he manuals all of his big cooldowns, right? And I think my understanding is that is the purple background skill, right? So once he pops that skill, background turns purple and just swords flying crazy, right? And then he pops this 30-second cooldown right here, which is like a big spear, I think, which is what it is. And then everything after that, pretty sick. But yeah, look at his DPS climbing. It's climbing. And you can just see the chaos. Like, I can't even imagine if it was full transparency here, that would just be epic. Awesome to see all those swords flying around the purple background. And that was what, 30 seconds uptime there for that purple, that big burst skill was kind of just passive lines. And right there, look, second cycle popped up. Him and the DK. So the DK right here, I believe, is the DK. So right on par with the DK, which is pretty insane, right? Because DKs have some of the best, arguably the best DPS warrior in the game. I think they have the best burst, short burst in the game, and obviously good sustainability. So the fact that it is keeping up here is impressive. Very, very impressive in like these short 60-second windows, which is what Will is all about. And so one of the things that I also kind of underrated was they have two 60-second iframes, right? They have impenetrable skin, and they also have this gold skill that's in there. I forget what it's called, but it's like a short, very short, iframe. But here he goes, bursting again. Has a lot of skills in the preset too. I like that. And they have another preset over here in this skill. So they got a lot of buttons that they're using on top of all of this stuff that he's manualing. So this is this gold one is their iframe right there. It's like a 1 second iframe though. So it's not great, but it's, better than nothing. You can use it. And here he uses manuals his burst here. And in my opinion, I'm not sure, I feel like Adele may be even better than we think. But since this team is so strong, it doesn't even actually get the value, the full DPS to showcase, because they're clearing this thing so fast. Like right here, they may clear this before his 30-second cooldown comes back up. Yeah, which is insane how much damage. If he got another 15, 20 seconds and he could pop this and get actually full value out of that, because I think it's a big sword right there. But look at that. Popped off. Top of the charts. Pretty insane. Pretty insane right now. And this is something I did not expect seeing this, and I was just glad that he was able to showcase his point of view and play well. And this is DB, Phantom, Sephi is the Wind Archer, and I think it's another DB, Lumi, I believe, and then DK. So Adele is beating all of them. I gotta rethink this, because this is just absurd. I've never seen an Adele do this much damage before in Damien or in Lucid or anything like that. And that's what I love about this. I love the showcases and people showing out, because it reminds me of the Demon Avenger when I first saw them post V4 in Lucid doing insane damage, where if we don't see it, there's just not enough representation. It doesn't mean they're a bad class. It's just there's not enough people playing it at the highest level, at the peak potential with the best gear. So I'm glad that we're able to showcase this. Shout out to Sephi and shout out to Zeus, the Adele here. That is really, this is just amazing for you guys, for us, for me to see. So So you see everything lines up nicely right here. Popping his burst right here. Setting everything up. So again, the top end burst isn't that, like, can't compete with the DK here, right? DK kind of surpassed it quite a bit, but look at it. Watch him jump these last 15, 20 seconds here. Just catch up. And he's doing 5-6 bill every second. He gets his additional 30-second burst up here, and he is flying right here in DPS. He caught up so fast in that little like 15-20 second window. It was mind blowing because DKs have pretty good sustained damage, but apparently Adele's are just like that. That's a big jump. It went from, in about 10-15 seconds, it out DPS the DK by like 100 bill at least. So that is just awesome to see. Now, obviously, that they don't have the great mobility. It doesn't look like he even has a dash on his skill wheel, but he obviously has blink for the teleport. But man, we got these swords flying around and doing crazy DPS. It's pretty sweet to see. So it's gonna get back on here. So again, this team is just so stacked. But look at him in the DK. They are 200 bill above all of these. These are all full 60s, by the way, right? Full 67 mil cap players, and they are lapping them. And you would not think an Adele has the type of burst that like this. So right here, he's gonna pop his cooldowns right here, pop all his big burst. And it's just cool to see these three jump kind of back and forth. But once he gets his burst up, once it gets kind of rolling here, and he's still got 10 seconds, 11 seconds kind of remaining on this. He could have got way more, but look how quickly he jumped up. That is just insane to see. That is just so impressive how much damage it can do in like that 15-20 second window. But I think that is what makes it challenging as well, because in any other boss, it is very difficult to find those consistent windows of 20 to 30 seconds of straight DPS. This is what I've talked about before, where like classes like the Sia or like even Paladins, right, where they're duration based and finding windows of 30 seconds, just straight raw DPS without like Damien flying up, without minigame happening for Lucid, where the boss isn't moving. It makes it very challenging to consistently get that. And maybe that's why Adele's don't perform that great in other bosses and perform insane here, because Will doesn't leave. And Will is stationary for the most part in phase 1 and phase 2, and definitely in phase 3. So it just makes it so there's full uptime, full value. You really can see these classes start to really shine and show their true potential, which is what I like, right? And you wouldn't suspect Adele's to be one of the classes that excel because they may not have like the top tier burst. Oh, got poisoned there. So that's the vertical axis there for poison, no matter what. Interesting. But yeah, this is where I really like to see how phase 3 is where I like to see how classes really compare, because it is straight tunneling. If you don't die, you're just straight tunneling for the most part. And so you're going to see, I mean, he's going to pop his burst here right now. Impenetrable. And the DK shot up with his burst. But yeah, look at this. Just the amount of madness there is just insane. I love it. Love it. So yeah, this team is just absurd. Yeah, he's already back up in the first place. By a significant margin, in my opinion. And so my take on the Adele, kind of quickly just seeing this for, this gameplay, is that they have to be moved up ahead of classes like Kaiser, Iran for sure, Heroes, like same tier as Heroes, DKs, Paladins, Adeles in Will. Now, I'm curious how they stack up in other content, but I've heard that Adele is very good in Covert as well. And this is a newer Adele as well, level 242. So you can see that he may not have like high enough Dom pendants to keep up with all these other mains that are like 250 plus. But yeah, the nice thing about these classes that perform really well is they don't have clones, right? So all of these lines are pretty much capping and just going crazy. There, he used his iframe there. And it is neck and neck. There's a DK bursting hard right here. Damn, the DK's burst is insane. So that might be like the one, I guess, difference just in playstyle and how they do their damage, about how DK's is able to keep the aggro here, while Adele, like the DK never gives up aggro, even though the Adele is pretty much topping the charts the entire time. But yeah, this gap is widening here during this phase right here. Not dying, survivability is good. Apparently has pretty good self heals as well. Popping that immediately, that big 30-second cooldown. Just widening that gap. I mean, just looking at this, you have to believe that DKs or that Adeles are in their own right have to be considered to be the top warrior, if not one of the top warriors in the game. Like, and obviously one of the top classes. Like, he's beating thieves, the top thieves, dual blades, phantoms. And they kind of mess up here a little bit. This is why I think kind of messed them up slightly. They're getting knocked back. Aggros are kind of jumping. But yeah. And it looks like, I wonder if he's going to get his cooldowns back up in these next 20 seconds, or they're going to kill it before then. Because I do know that the DK gets his burst off right at the last second, and so does the Lumi. So maybe like manualing his skills, just send him back just a little bit here, because he should have it up right here, right? 15 seconds in, but he kind of waited, and then here's the DK past him, and then the Lumi literally at the last second. So his burst just came back up, right? His burst came up right now. Right now he used it, and they killed it literally 2 seconds later. So again, I believe that the Adele's, like, if there's another 15, 20 seconds left, he for sure would have topped the charts easily. But it was kind of a blessing and a curse that his team was so insanely strong and so fast, and just overall absolutely insane. But yeah, here it was. This is the Lumi, DK Lumi Adele, kind of just at the top, and then kind of a tier below. Looks like DK or dual blade, Phantom, dual blade, Wind Archer. So what are your thoughts on this? Like, where would you put Adele as far as among the best warriors in the game, best classes in the game? You got to put them up there, right? And my take is that, first of all, I definitely underrated them, their DPS output. I just thought that they didn't have that top end burst for one to keep up. Like, this is what surprised me the most. Not the sustain, not that they're keeping up with DKs, but that within like the first 20 seconds, right? This is kind of where the initial burst happens, that it was 3, right? Which is insane to think. And then after this, it's competitive. And it's going to catch up slowly here. And if there was a little bit more time, the team wasn't so strong that this 30-second cooldown right here would have more value out of it and have it to catch up. But then obviously you see by the end of phase 1, phase 2, they were up there, right? Getting maximum value, getting max DPS, and going crazy with it. Yeah. So, yeah, I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. This is just, I mean, awesome to see. I'm glad that we all got to see this and see just, kind of put Adele's on the map. And, hopefully it convinces people to want to play it, right? This is very impressive. And just look at the skills, right? When this burst is up, full transparency, like that is the beauty of Adele. Looks good, plays good, and does insane damage. So yeah, can't wait to see more content, Adele's, and just new classes, what's coming next.